A moment of forgiveness can change everything. But in Heartland Season 19, Episode 10, that moment may arrive too late. As tensions rise on the ranch, one choice will test the strength of family, trust, and love more than ever before. Forgiveness is never simple. And in this episode of Heartland, it becomes the heart of every struggle and every moment of hope. The ranch feels different this time, quiet, heavy, almost holding its breath because everyone knows something is about to shift. A past hurt, one that was pushed aside for too long, begins to surface again. It doesn't explode with loud arguments or dramatic scenes. Instead, it arrives slowly, like a storm cloud rolling in over the fields, darkening the light little by little. This episode leans into that feeling. It shows how even strong families fall into silence when emotions are too heavy to carry. People avoid eye contact, conversations stop halfway, and the ranch, usually full of life, feels disconnected. The air is thick with questions no one wants to ask, and answers no one wants to give. But forgiveness is not just about saying sorry. It's about trust, healing, and facing the truth without fear. That is the journey Episode 10 begins to shape. Every moment hints that someone will have to step forward, admit the pain, and reach out with a brave heart. Nothing is forced. The tension grows naturally, like a wound reopening after being ignored too long. Through all this, the wide open fields, the soft wind, and the steady presence of the horses remind us that peace is still possible. Nature continues to move. The ranch continues to breathe. And even when people feel broken, Heartland whispers a message. Healing begins the moment someone is brave enough to forgive. Tension at Heartland often rises quietly. And in this episode, that quiet tension becomes impossible to ignore. It starts with small moments, side glances, unfinished sentences, reminders of something that went wrong long before anyone wanted to talk about it. Episode 10 frames this conflict not as loud drama, but as a slow ache that follows each character through their day. You can feel the weight in the air, almost like the ranch itself senses the strain and grows still. What makes this conflict powerful is how real it feels. No shouting, no dramatic exits, just a painful space between people who care about each other but don't know how to fix what's broken. Someone is trying to move forward, while another is stuck in the memory of what happened. This pull between past and present shapes every decision, and every silence feels louder than words. The horses seem to mirror this tension too, restless, alert, picking up on emotions that humans try to hide. Heartland has always shown how animals reflect the heart of the story, and here they become a symbol of the unease. A nervous horse, a hesitant step, or a quiet moment in the barn says what the characters are too afraid to say. That something needs to be faced before anyone can move on. The true conflict isn't about blame. It's about fear, the fear of being hurt again, the fear of saying the wrong thing, the fear of losing someone's trust forever. These fears grow with every minute of silence. Each character stands at a crossroads, wondering whether to hold their pain inside or finally let the truth out. And as the episode builds, it becomes clear that only one thing can break through this tension: the courage to speak and the courage to listen. Every story reaches a moment when everything shifts. And in this episode, that moment appears in the quietest and most unexpected way. It isn't loud or dramatic. It begins with a single choice, one character finally stopping, breathing, and deciding they can't carry the weight anymore. This moment feels small at first, almost easy to overlook, but it becomes the spark that changes the entire direction of the episode. The turning point forms when honesty breaks through the silence that has been clouding the ranch. A simple action, maybe a gesture, a shared moment, or a few carefully spoken words cuts through days of tension. It's the moment when someone realizes that avoiding the truth only makes the pain grow, and the only way forward is to open up, even if it feels impossible. The scene carries a kind of stillness, like time slowing just enough for everyone to understand how much this conversation matters. What makes this shift so powerful is how fragile it feels. One wrong word could send everything backward, yet a gentle truth has the power to pull people closer. You can almost sense the ranch breathing again as barriers begin to crack. It's not forgiveness yet. Not even close. but it's the first step toward understanding the first sign that someone is brave enough to reach out. The horses, the backdrop of Heartland's emotional world, seem calmer here too. Their movements soften. Their presence becomes comforting instead of tense. It's as if the ranch responds to honesty the same way people do with relief. The sky seems brighter, the wind quieter, hinting that change is finally coming. This turning point doesn't solve everything, but it opens a door. It shows that healing starts the moment someone chooses courage over fear. And once that door is open, the rest of the episode shifts with it, moving toward either reconciliation or a truth that could change everything forever. Forgiveness is never a single moment. It is a quiet battle inside the heart. And in this episode, that battle becomes clearer than ever. Once the truth finally begins to surface, the characters are left standing in a space that feels both hopeful and uncertain. The question now is simple, yet powerful. Can they forgive? And should they? The ranch feels like it's holding its breath again, but this time the silence is different. It's not heavy with anger, it's filled with possibility. What makes this stage of the episode so moving is that forgiveness isn't treated like an easy answer. It's shown as something that takes strength, patience, and deep reflection. One character struggles to let go of their disappointment, while another quietly hopes for a second chance. You can feel the tension between wanting to heal and fearing that forgiveness might open old wounds again. This pull is what gives episode 10 its emotional depth. It reminds us that real forgiveness is not about forgetting what happened, but choosing to move forward despite the pain. The ranch mirrors this inner conflict beautifully. The sky shifts between light and shadow, almost reflecting the emotions inside the family. A soft breeze moves through the fields, carrying a sense of calm, as if the land itself is encouraging them to let go and breathe again. The horses, steady and patient, linger near the fences or wander slowly across the grass. Their calm presence becomes a symbol of the peace that forgiveness might bring if someone is willing to reach for it. As the episode edges toward its final moments, the characters must make their choice. Will they open their hearts and risk being vulnerable, or will they protect themselves by holding on to the past? The answer isn't forced or rushed. It unfolds gently, leaving room for reflection. That's what makes it so powerful. Forgiveness here is not shown as a reward, but as an act of courage, one that can rebuild trust or create a new beginning entirely. And as the screen prepares to fade, one thing becomes clear. Forgiveness may not erase the hurt, but it can light the way toward healing. And in Heartland, healing is often where the strongest stories begin. As the emotional weight of episode 10 settles in, fans everywhere begin to share their own hopes, fears, and predictions. Heartland has always inspired strong feelings, and this episode sparks even more conversation than usual. People want answers. They want closure. They want to know whether the path toward forgiveness will stay steady or twist into something unexpected. This wave of curiosity forms a kind of energy that surrounds the episode, building excitement long before the credits roll. What makes the fan reactions so interesting is how different they are. Some viewers believe this episode will mark a fresh start for one of the strained relationships. They imagine a moment of soft honesty to characters finally admitting their mistakes and choosing to rebuild. Others think the opposite. They predict that the attempt at forgiveness might fall apart, creating new obstacles for the episode still to come. These mixed opinions show just how deeply the story has reached into the hearts of longtime fans. There are also those who focus on the small clues, tiny details in behavior, tone, or scenery that hint at what might come next. Heartland viewers have always been patient observers, able to catch the slightest shift in emotion or the smallest change in someone's expression. They use these clues to build theories about how the characters will grow, who will make the next brave choice, and what the future of the ranch might look like. But one shared feeling stretches across all fan discussions: hope. No matter what theories they believe, fans hope that episode 10 will bring healing, or at least the beginning of it. Heartland has always been grounded in the idea that even the hardest moments can lead to something good. This episode continues that tradition, inviting viewers to trust the process of forgiveness right along with the characters. As more people talk, predict, and debate, the excitement only grows. Episode 10 becomes more than just another chapter, it becomes a moment fans want to experience together. And that sense of connection, that shared anticipation, is part of what makes Heartland so special. It's not just a story on a screen. It's a journey that viewers feel deeply, long before the next episode arrives. As the story of episode 10 moves toward its final moments, a quiet intensity rises. Not because everything is fixed, but because everything finally feels possible. The ranch, once heavy with silence, now carries a softer energy, like the world is opening its arms again. And just when viewers think they know where the story is heading, the episode leaves one last gentle question hanging in the air. What comes next for the ones who dared to face the truth? This is where the tease becomes powerful. Heartland does not end with easy answers. Instead, it offers a spark, a hint that the choices made in this episode will echo far into the future. A single look, a shift in tone, or a quiet moment between characters hints that forgiveness is only the beginning. Healing, rebuilding trust, and learning to stand together again. Those journeys are just starting, and fans feel it. They know something bigger is coming, something that will shape the rest of the season. The ranch scenery adds to the emotion. The sun lowers over the fields, casting long shadows that stretch across the land. The horses slow their steps, peaceful again. The sky glows with warm colors that make the entire setting feel like a fresh start waiting to happen. It's the kind of ending that doesn't close a door, it opens one. And viewers are left wanting more, eager to see where the story will lead. This is why episode 10 becomes such an important chapter. It draws the audience in, pulls at old emotions, and sets the stage for new ones. It promises that the next episode will follow these threads with even deeper meaning. And that's exactly where the call to action comes in, not as a command, but as an invitation. The audience is gently encouraged to stay close, keep watching, and continue the journey with the characters they've grown to love. They're invited to look for clues, share their theories, and return for every twist and quiet moment still to come. Because Heartland is more than a show, it's a story that grows with every viewer who follows it. So as the final image fades, one clear message remains: don't miss what comes next. The story is far from over. As the video reaches its end, the story of episode 10 gently settles in the minds of viewers. The emotions, the tension, the hope for forgiveness, everything lingers like the last glow of sunlight over the Heartland Ranch. This moment isn't about rushing away. It's about giving the audience space to breathe, think, and feel connected to the journey they just experienced. That's why the end screen becomes more than a closing image. It becomes a bridge to everything that comes next. The visuals shift to soft ranch-inspired scenery, rolling fields, a warm horizon, the silhouette of a horse standing calm and still. These visuals aren't just background. They remind the audience of the world they just stepped into. A world full of heart, struggle, and second chances. Even without showing any copyrighted characters or scenes, the feeling of Heartland remains strong and familiar. Like a gentle goodbye until next time, this final section invites viewers to stay engaged, not out of pressure, but out of genuine curiosity and connection. It presents the next steps clearly. Explore the preview for episode 11, revisit the emotional recap of episode 9, or dive into a theory video about the future of season 19. Each suggestion becomes a pathway for viewers who want to stay immersed in the story and continue discovering what Heartland has in store. But the true purpose of the end screen is deeper. It encourages viewers to become part of the community, people who feel the same emotions, share the same predictions, and support the same characters. By inviting them to like, comment, and subscribe, the video opens the door for shared conversation and ongoing excitement. Not as a demand, but as a welcome gesture. You are part of this journey too. As the final seconds fade out, the music softens and the screen transitions into calm, steady colors. It's a peaceful ending, yet full of anticipation. Viewers are left with the sense that Heartland's story is still moving, still growing, and that they will be there when the next chapter arrives. The message is simple, warm, and clear. Stay close. More stories are waiting, and the next moment of Heartland is just around the corner.